Okay, I just wanted to take a second to talk about your first Project 100 challenge. And I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of guidance on how you know where that might be for you. So I've said this maybe in a few other videos that meeting yourself with where you're at is 100% the name of the game here. It's also stretching yourself a little bit because the idea is to form new habits that aren't already existing, that you want to become a regular part of your routine in your life, but in such a way that is going to be way more manageable and doable, and you're going to get to celebrate it on the way. And you're going to get a pretty good idea of what you think is doable for you when you get through probably to day 6 and 7. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you may notice this isn't a journal that's saying, dated on Monday or anything like that. But for every 10 days, you're going to have to get through a full week and then some. And I did that on purpose because it's usually the weekend or, depending on when you work or your days off, that when your routine changes, so does your mind and your focus and your intention. And if you listen to the video, I talked about habit stacking and how your brain works. Your brain is usually looking to raise the white flag on the weekend and on those days off. And it doesn't want to stick to these habits and routines when you get to take time off. So notice that these are 10 days for a reason. And if you can get to day 6 and 7, I feel like you have chosen a really good focus for yourself for the first phase and beyond. So I would say start with the basics. You're going to get to you can use your own widgets or your own ideas as well, but I've given you 10 ideas and you're going to be able to mix these up. You're going to be able to add them on to each other. And the one thing I want to point out as well is if you start with your water, which is where I would start, and make that your Project 100 goal. That is your phase goal. Obviously, you can still track all kinds of things and eat well and all of those things. But the one thing that is like your no matter what is that. So notice that you could be doing all kinds of other amazing healthy habits, but you're going to celebrate the one that's your like no matter what, drop dead goal focus. So make that. I think that's a really good one to start with. And then maybe you want to start adding on just tracking your nutrition. This isn't even like making any changes. This is just tracking your nutrition. And you'll know, again, in day 7, it's like, okay, a lot of people, by the way, really, really resist this one, like really bad. And it's because people are making judgments about what they're eating, and we're going to get away from that. But if there's, just know that your nutrition is completely neutral. There's no good, there's no bad. So if you choose that for 10 days, you're just going to track without trying to make changes, I want you to celebrate the heck out of that. Celebrate and notice that, yeah, you're probably making some judgments about it, and that's okay. You can still write it down. It's not going to kill you. That's the worst thing that's going to happen is that people get into their heads. There's nothing, the food is not bad. And then you might want to add, let's see, maybe you then want to start adding some exercise to the routine. And you can start, by the way, you don't have to include all of these in your phase either. Like you could once water is like a done deal, once you've developed that habit and you figured out your strategies to getting in your water goals each day, you don't have to put this on your hub of your phase goals. But it helps. But if, sometimes it can be distracting as well. So maybe when you move, you're like, water's not a problem. You don't have to have that on here. But just knowing what can you commit to fully and make it your job as if you're being paid to show up and do it. Whatever it is you do for your work or your job that's a priority in your life, this is the same thing, the same level of priority. And then let me just see what else we might add on there. And then maybe it's time that you're going to make some changes to your nutrition. And this is what I like about this widget is it is not telling you what to do. You are telling the journal, you're calling the shots, and you're saying for the next 10 days, my nutrition protocol is. And I'm not suggesting that you write down all your food in here. I'm suggesting that whatever guidelines and parameters you're putting on that is, put it and be specific in here so that you know how to measure whether or not you've done and stuck to what you said your protocol is going to be. I really like that one. And there's some other ones in here too, like maybe you just want to complete your journal prompts every day. That's going to be an important habit for you because you like how it keeps you on, creative and holding some space for yourself. And maybe this one, the morning routine one, I really think is cool because you get to dictate what you want your morning routine to look like and then whether or not you stuck to that routine. And if you didn't, then maybe there is some modifications you need to make to make it more doable for you right now. Like, for example, maybe it's just the waking up part and maybe you're not going to work out. Maybe you just want to meet yourself at getting into the habit of waking up, and that's something you can totally do. And also this saying no to, this one I really liked because this can be anything. This can be, maybe there's toxic people in your life. You're like, nope, I'm not going to participate in the water cooler gossip at work for the next 10 days. I'm just, this can be anything. But also maybe it's you really struggle with snacking in the nighttime or a certain type of trigger food that is really throwing you off. That's something that you could do there. So there's lots of options here for you. But ultimately, start slow. Make sure you get the foundation of the basics and then you can move on. Whatever it is you decide, please come join the Facebook group or if you're in my bod group, share with us in there what your first phase 1 goal is going to be. And you might be surprised. There's probably some other people that are on board and want to do it with you.